leadership and team building skills, perfect for corporate retreats. Visit willowequine.com as you gallop to greatness.
Find your holiday style at Nina's Boutique, located in the heart of downtown Cornelius. This women-owned boutique offers trendy, affordable fashions in sizes extra small to 2X, plus a beautiful collection of jewelry and accessories. Happy holidays from Nina's Boutique.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now. Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah! You are listening to number one live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you from a brand new spanking. It even smells new. It's got the new studio smell. Burner Cigar Studio, home of absolutely the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Burner Cigars, great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burners. Go on by there and see them in Brookdale Village and also in Denver on Highway 16. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. Well, we hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. I am Joe Vagnone. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. Now, for those of you that do not believe I am the host of the number one business show in North Carolina, let me tell you, I got brand new stats. Just so you know, we've been doing this strong, going on 11 years. We have 899 interviews with small business owners and community leaders, and we have over 705 videos on the tubes. For those of you that don't know Joe Talk, that is YouTube. And we have 148 subscribers. We're going hard at it. I can remember both of these co-hosts remember the day I had 5 subscribers, which brings me to my introduction of both of my co-hosts. As you know, if you are followers of the show, every December we bring back our favorite co-hosts and give them a chance to fill us in on what they're doing for this year and what they intend on doing for next year. So please let me introduce to you Chuck Cooper. He is author and president and founder of Whitewater Consulting. He also wrote a brand new book that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Chuck, my friend, thank you for being here, buddy.
It's great to be with you, Joe. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.
I sure did, my friend. Thank you so much. What do you think of the brand new duds we got going on around here? I mean, it's going to take a little practice to figure this out.
Of the ones I've been to, this is by far the best.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but I got a button. I can change the lights behind you now. I'm in control of some buttons. Somebody made a big mistake when they gave me that. That being, speaking of mistakes, we also invited my friend, whether he will admit it or not, James Sander, president of Shared Resources Technology, and also the recipient of the Left Shoe Award for the top host of Local Biz Now. My friend, how you doing, buddy?
I am grateful to be here, proud to serve. How was that for my short?
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. That was good. That was good. That was very good. So I told both of these gentlemen, we did all of this moving, got an entire building set up just so we can create a short for these guys. So that's what we're after. So let's get started. Let's see if we can't make a short that can go viral, and and then you guys can retire. You know, that's what this is all about.
This.
We can be next.
This. Yes. We've got it. We could be the next Joe.
Okay. So here's what I'd like to do, guys. First of all, remember, you're once a co-host, always a co-host. James, please feel free to jump in, ask any question that you want. But
all
Chuck,
right, my first one, Chuck, is how much did Joe pay you to subscribe to his YouTube channel?
No. Did you? And how much will it cost?
This all started with Julie, so that's where.
No further questions.
And Julie did say we are live on the book, live on the tubes, live on the X. And for those of you that don't know Joe Talk, that is YouTube, Facebook, and X. Feel free to go to Facebook where I try and answer your questions. That's where I'm monitoring as we're live on the show. Chuck, you wrote a new book.
I did.
I apologize. I have not had time to read it. Now, do not measure me based on that.
Well, the good news is the audio version's coming out here within the next week, so you don't have to read. You can just listen while you're driving.
Nice.
So the book is titled The Family Business Blueprint, correct?
Yes.
It's kind of right up my alley, right? I mean, you're rubbing up against what I do here, aren't you?
A lot. Yeah, I really am. And I was really looking forward to our conversation because of the fact that it does just speak directly to your audience.
Kind of walk me through that, because it's kind of a stretch from what I knew you to be, which is sort of HR, right? So kind of how did this come about?
So as you know, if we go back to the days of COVID, I had a desire at that point to be able to get better and become a stronger communicator with my clients. And so I would get up and start to write every morning for the first 4 months of 2020. And as part of that, that led to my first book, Unprecedented. A speaking engagement took place at Georgetown University where I spoke with a entrepreneurship intensive class made up of about 300 students from 100 different countries around the world. Their number one question that day was, my parents have built this amazing business. There is not communicated, just an expectation that I'm going to be coming in to take over the business. And the reality is, I want nothing to do with their business.
Welcome to my world.
How do I have the conversation with them? And that question, I could never get the question fully out of my mind. And that led me to starting to do some research in 2023, where I spoke to just over 1,400 business owners last year, gathering information on them and their company and what their plans were for succession. The aha moment for me was that over 70% of those business owners I spoke with, 70% of them did not have a succession plan in place.
So let's back up for a second. So why do you think our children don't want our businesses? Because you ran right into why my business has been doing very well the last 3 or 4 years. My clients thought they were going to sell it to their children, right?
Right.
And the kids just don't want it. Why is that?
I think there's a couple of different reasons for that. Number one, they've watched their parents try to build this business. They've watched them
work hard.
I mean, and watch them go through stressful chapters of life where finances were tight, business was tight. We had COVID, and they saw their parents go through that, and they're like, we want something different than that.
But Chuck, they're sitting in an entrepreneur class listening to you. Don't they know they're going to have their own struggles? Do they think it's going to be different?
In some of those cases, they do think there's going to be a lot different.
Oh, they think they're going to do better than mommy and daddy.
And the reality is, the business they want to pursue, it has to do with, we want to make a difference in the world, not just make a profit.
Got it. Let's take a break. We'll come back. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. James, can you do it? Can you do it?
Your business matters.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Let me say this. I'm sitting up here. Chuck's talking about what he's done with his life. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I sitting up here in this chair? This guy is awesome.
Well, you see why he goes first.
I guess, yeah. And we got 2 minutes left. James, you want to tell us, use long passwords?
James, sum up your life. You got 2 minutes, buddy.
Last pass.
I thought there was going to be free food.
Yeah. Oh my God. Man, that segment went fast.
That went really fast, but you did exceptionally well. I mean,
Thanks.
really well. Really well. Can you do 2 more segments like that?
Yeah.
'Cause I'll come back. I'll record this in my chair.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
All right.
So when we come back, so we got about another 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let's try and hit those 6 reasons we
Wait.
small business people are not prepared to sell now that we realize Bobby and Janie don't want the business. Okay.
All right.
But definitely get with Julie because your book is a whole show in itself for me.
Oh my
right?
gosh, Joe.
Yeah.
It really would be.
And it's funny that your experience is what I just thought mine was anecdotal, and maybe there are plenty of other parents that are selling their businesses. They just wouldn't come to me, right?
Right.
But it's happening.
It's happening all over the world.
Well, hopefully the parents can get rid of it the right way
Well, that's the thing. If they don't,
on the way out,
if the
so
kid-
that the kids don't just throw it away.
but that's
well-
the thing. That's where the question becomes: if the kids don't want it, what do we do with it? And they don't know what their options are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could sell it to one of your key employees. You could sell it to a leadership team or to your private equity. They just don't know what.
Yeah, on occasion you hear about the $1 billion business
Sure.
where the guy says, "I'm not selling to the competitor. Instead, I'm giving it to my employees."
I am
Yes.
to tell you both
So-
that Sophia is watching.
Oh, Sophia's watching. Sophia, I hope you did your
Joe,
homework.
did you just break something?
Nope, I didn't break anything.
I mean, because if something's broke, let's blame James.
Making
everything
better for you.
We're still live on Facebook, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay.
So Chuck, Sophia is my
Julie
10-year-old
said-
daughter.
Oh, she is. All
My
right.
daughter, whom I hope does not end up with
Julie told me
the
stop
message
yelling
that I
at
have.
JoJo.
So
I wasn't yelling at you today. Was I yelling at you today? Well, maybe.
That's great that she's watching.
It's not a
she's
Monday
watching,
if I ain't
and,
picking
and
on
she's
Joe.
an employee.
Okay.
She's
Now back to Local Biz Now with your host, Joe Vagnone on 1059, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
You're live, Joe.
And we are back. We are live in a brand new studio. Those of you live on the radio, they have not pumped the music intro and bumper music in my headset yet in the new studio. So I have to wait for Joe to give me the and he loves to watch me fumble around. You understand that? So that was an internal joke. Joe's enjoying picking on me. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and we thank you so much for being here. I'm here with a good friend of mine, whether he will admit it or not, Chuck Cooper, and also my buddy James Sanders. Chuck Cooper is the founder of Whitewater Consulting, and he wrote a book that we're getting ready to talk about. James Sanders is the president and founder of Shared Resources Technology. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
So, Chuck, let's jump into this, okay? You wrote a book, The Family Business Blueprint. It's as if you were writing it for me, right? You like most of this I could have written.
Absolutely.
And I've only been about a chapter into it, right? And a lot of it is wonderful resource for me because you do a lot of research for your books, right? You just don't get up on a Tuesday and put some stuff on paper, right? This is real data that you've done research on.
This is our own internal research we did last year, but just talking with business owners across the U.S., speaking to them about their organization, what their plans were, and really what we really did, we took a snapshot of their business at pre-COVID, at COVID, and then post-COVID to see what's happened within their organization. And it's really led to them continuing to focus on just the operations, not really giving thought to what do we do with this.
Right. And that's what I run into. When a client of mine comes to me, they're just tired, right? They're like, okay, I've got to a point where I'm either burnt out, or I'm just tired, or my wife said I'm just too old, right? We're moving to the mountains, and I've got to sell this thing, right? So they're forced to find somebody to do what they do. It really has altered their way of tking because they thought this was going to happen on a weekend, right? Like anybody would want this business that I've created.
And you have broken it down to 6 key points for us.
That is correct. There's really 6 key areas, key reasons why business owners have not created their succession plan.
So let's do that, James. So your first chapter in the book, it says chapter number 1, there's no buyer for your baby, right?
Exactly.
Which is so true. And I told you I didn't have time to read it, but I couldn't help but read that chapter, right? So let's go through the 6 reasons small business people, how do I want to say that, are having trouble selling their businesses. Is that, or having trouble preparing?
Exactly.
Okay.
So let me back up just for a second, because I just saw a report the other day that was based on data from second quarter of this year that showed the number of businesses that came to market to be sold based on the size of their organization, from 0 to $500,000 to 1, all the way up to 50 million in revenue. And what we found, what the report showed, was that the number one reason business owners were selling was because they wanted to retire. You flip over to the next chart, how much time was spent on exit planning, getting that company ready to sell? Over 60%, up to 85% was because 0 to no time at all to less than 1 year.
That's right.
And that is, I'm sure that's probably what you see as well.
Yeah, well, their planning comes when I'm asking them questions and they don't know the answers, right? Then they decide, oh, maybe I think about that, right? Let me call you back next week, Joe. Let me think about that, and I'll call you back next week, right?
So let me share a real quick story before we jump into these 6 points.
Sure.
About a business owner that I spoke with in the Midwest in August of last year. It's part of my research. And what we found was, he said, I'm in the busiest time of my year at this point, and I have not had time to do this, but I have got this on my agenda. I'm going to start this in January of 2024. He calls me in January and says, I should have started months ago. Just so you know, since I last spoke with you, I've been diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. And he goes, I do about 28 million in revenue, and I have no plan, and I don't know where to start. What are my options? And I said, here's what we're going to do. Starting next week, we're going to get engaged. We're going to spend 1 hour to 2 hours every week on a virtual call. And we're going to start this process, and we're going to go as far as we need to go. And so we started in February, and we got to mid-August. Everything, he called me and he said, as of today, papers are signed, deals done. We've got everything in place. I am, at the first time in my life, I am content and at peace with where I'm at.
Great.
Calls me a week later. I just want to call to say thank you again. And also to let you know that I'm saying goodbye, because I am going into hospice tomorrow. The next week, I get a phone call from his family saying that he's passed. So if we had not, again, he took that entire time to get his company ready to sell. He was at peace with how things were going to end up, and his family was protected, and the employees of the company were protected.
Well, and from my vantage point, there's more value if the business has a succession plan in place. The buyer appreciates that everybody knows what happens when this owner is gone. So there is more value.
The company had brought more, it brought more in dollars and cents.
Right.
Because
okay, let's go through these 6 things, okay? Number 1, perceived complexity and time to actually make this happen.
And what we found, most of the business owners we talked to, they are so involved in the day-to-day operations that they don't have time at the end of the day to invest in thinking more strategically. And so they don't know where to start. They're like, we need somebody to come in and tell us what we need to do. And that they just don't want to take the time themselves to do that.
Number 2, uncertainty about the future. I can hear it now. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you want me to plan for 10 years from now.
And we've just come through COVID a few years ago, so that really kind of put that issue up front and center for a lot of business owners. But it's not just the COVID, but it's also about their marketplace is changing. The world is changing so much faster today than it did, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Studies are showing right now that by the end of the 2020s, change is going to be happening at about 4 times faster than it is today. Go out another decade, 16 times faster. They're like, we don't even know where to start. So that's kind of where they need help getting clarity around what they want from their business.
And Chuck, I don't know about you, but from my experience, people that have gone through these entrepreneur programs or people that have been in corporate America, they do a better job of that than us small business people that just simply, go by the gut. Like, we don't even want to think about the strategy of 5 years down the line, right? Where a lot of these corporate people or educated specifically for small business entrepreneur, they will sit down and do some structural planning.
They definitely will. And I think the challenge we run into again with business owners right now is from a family perspective, and the change is, do you want to make that decision? Which one of your kids is going to become the next owner of the company? Or do you want to maintain harmony within your family? And so a lot of times the spouses aren't even on the same page.
And if nothing else, let them know what you think of the company and the value of the company so that they know what to do if something happens. Number 3, emotional attachment. Oh man, this is, your title sums it up. It is their baby.
That is their baby. And that's where their identity is tied up in that business. And so no one can step in and take over that business to do a better job than they can.
And so we see movies about this all the time. Number 4, lack of clear successor. This is not easy. Number 1, we don't know which child is interested. Number 2, we don't know how to offer this to if we have multiple children. Number 3, we don't even know how to train them to get them ready to do that.
We certainly, even if we know, we've not taken the time to invest in doing that. So a lot of times when I talk to the business owners, they aren't even giving their kids the opportunity to be involved in the business at the time that they're teenagers. And I think they missed out. I know for myself, when I grew up in a family-owned business, I was part of that business. I mean, I was maybe doing mowing or I was doing cleaning,
right,
but I was involved in that business. And over the years, I became more and more involved in the roles in the operations. But I had at least an understanding of what I'm really coming into. The kids today, all they're seeing is firsthand from their parents, and they're hearing the conversations. They're like, I want nothing to do with that, but they don't see the positives that are coming from it.
So number 5, concern for the stakeholders. What was your thought on that one?
So I think when it comes to you're looking at the employees, you're looking at the relationships you have with your customers and with the vendors. And I think that's where, again, most of the time the business owners got those key relationships and they don't want to give those up.
And then number 6, no one values my business.
No one values my business. We, in our minds, we've poured our entire life and all of our sweat and equity into this. This business is worth $4 million. But if you take me out of this business, there's nothing left, really. So this business is, in some cases, not even sellable.
And that's the one thing that exit planning will do. It will let them know, when I pull you out and quote, in my world, right, normalize labor, right, this business is not making money. So I'm either finding somebody that will do what you do, which means they're buying themselves a job, or you need to start now creating a company that doesn't need you in it full time. And that's really what you're talking about here.
That is exactly, my hope is that business owners will start to create that succession plan. Once we've got the framework of that plan, then we'll start to look at ways we can build value into this over the next 3 to 5 years.
So Chuck, what's the name of the book, buddy?
The Family Business Blueprint, Creating Your Succession Roadmap.
And how can they get it?
You can get it on Amazon, or you can go to my website, which is chuckcooper.info. And you can find the book, the link to the book at both of those locations.
And I'm positive Julie's going to get you back on again, buddy. We're going to talk in detail with the book.
I would love that opportunity.
Let's take a break. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I am here with Chuck Cooper and the most painful co-host known to mankind, James Sanders. Say it, James. Say it.
Your business matters.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
We'll return to Local Biz Now with entrepreneur Joe Vagnone in just a moment on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Uh-oh. JoJo just messed something up. Oh, no. You done messed it up, man. The book does look like a great read. You know, you write in a way that I really like.
Thank you.
So I'm looking forward to reading that.
Perfect. I think there's some really good stories in the book.
So Julie's got chuckcooper.info on the book right now for you.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Christina and Sophie are listening.
Very good.
I mean, like,
That's
do you like force them to
those
do
are my
that?
2 followers.
You got 2 followers. You got one more than me.
Well, you paid Julie.
That's right.
So
it doesn't count if you have to pay them. So then you got 2 more than me.
Yeah.
This be no problem. So he is. Oh, Julie wanted to remind me that I was live. I didn't know I was live.
Hey, let's talk about
Julie,
family succession in regards to our current president and his son.
Let's talk about succession plan on Local Biz Now. Julie, you know I got the worst board operator in the entire world. You understand that, don't you? He got that title because I was his very first time on the board.
All right.
Didn't I tell you that story? You know, at the old studio, we used to be able to go to break whenever we wanted to go to break. You know, we were more in control.
That's correct. Yes.
So we were having some trouble with some of the stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't coming up right. And I said, okay, no problem. You know, let's go and break and we'll solve this. And I look over at brand new Joe, right? I think it was like 3rd day there. And he looks at me and went like this. I said, let's take a break and we'll be right back. He said,
what the problem was. You can't go to break, you gotta roll with it.
But his look, I was dying laughing, right? You know, it was just hilarious. Of course, we were live on the radio.
20 cents.
I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Call now to speak with Joe Vagnone at 844-STUDIO 4. It's Local Biz Now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Thumbs up, Joe. Hey, welcome back.
James, you want to do the intro? I don't know what happened, but I went down to read what I was doing. If you wouldn't have said anything, I'd still be reading. I want to say I got the worst board operator in the world, but I think he's got the worst host of all time. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and we're figuring this out in our brand new studio. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. I'm here with Chuck Cooper. We were talking with him. He's the president and founder of Whitewater Consulting. Chuck, thanks for coming, buddy. I really do appreciate it. I look forward to reading your book and you coming back and we digging in more onto that.
It's always my pleasure, Joe.
Really impressive, and I look forward to him coming back also.
And so I'm also here with James Sanders. He is the president and founder of Shared Resources Technology. James, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you. Celebrating our 25th year next year.
25
January 1st, we'll be 25 years old.
And I don't think people realize how hard that is. You know, I mean, it is really hard to keep a business going for a long period of time.
It has been interesting. There are some stories to tell.
But in your world, I mean, things have changed drastically. I mean, what you were doing 25 years ago and what you're doing today, it's night and day.
25 years ago, I ran out of the back of a Chevy Astro van, and I had parts and buckets so that when hardware failed, then I would have it on me and add value to my customers by being there at the right time. I had to wait for something to break before I went out and fixed it. My income was all over the place, depending on whether something broke or not. Even though I only made money when my clients were experiencing pain, they used to provide me lunches and be really happy to see me. They're like, "Oh, the computer guy's here to fix everything." It's not like that anymore at all. I will trade their excitement for me being there for the steady income.
Right,
so
right.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that. It's been a wonderful lifestyle business that has allowed me to do a lot of things in my life that I would not have otherwise been able to do if I was punching the clock for someone else.
And at 3 a.m, you could get a phone call from a client and have to fix something. I mean, that is there.
Yes. I had North Mech 911 as a client for about a decade. And that's 24-hour operations. When you call 911, someone there has to answer the phone. And some exciting moments came out of that. I invested in a sports car at that point to get from China Grove to Cornelius as quickly as I could. And I pretended like, oh, I'm doing this for the police. So speed limit doesn't matter. That was a lot. That was a good lifestyle.
And so, and that's how we met. Was in fact, I had a computer that needed to be repaired, and that's what I knew you as the repair guy.
Right. Yeah.
Not
some people still see me as that.
Do they?
Sure. Yeah.
See, I see you as the tech guy, the software guy, the IT guy. I mean, the guy keeping me from these cyber criminals that are out there. That's how I see you in a much bigger role than I used to. Was just a repair person.
I understand. Yes. Yeah.
Is that okay? Can I do that?
Oh, absolutely. That's an accurate.
Okay.
Now, will I still show up to swap out a part? Gratefully.
Right.
But the rest of the time, I'm at the desk doing amazing things,
right.
Amazing other things, proactive things. Yes.
How has AI affected what you do? Has it yet?
It has touched a lot of what we do. AI, from a security perspective, is an easy one because security is always a hot topic. And so AI is being used by both the good guys and the bad guys to advance attacks and prevent attacks. From our perspective, one of the fun things we do is called endpoint detection and response. And unlike waiting for a virus to show up on a computer and do something bad, like an execution,
waiting for me to click on the wrong thing,
well, see, when you click on the wrong thing with EDR, it will recognize that Joe downloaded a piece of remote control software. Why would he do that? And it'll alert us, and we say, well, why? We'll call the little law firm and say, well, why did you just download TeamViewer? Who is going to be accessing your computer and helping you with what? Because we should know, and let's just stop and ask that question as a sanity check. It is. It looks not just for code, but for behavior. It's smart enough to look through
know
behavior.
That Joe don't know no better.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So, you love bringing me stuff because I tell co-hosts all the time that they have to go to the Google and bring something to me. But in your case, you're the Google. So
I like to write.
You do.
I do.
So
I like to think about things and then write it and put it in a way that other people can understand it.
So what you got for me?
I have. Today I have this season's top security threats for small businesses.
Okay. Before we get into, read that title again.
This season's top cybersecurity threats for small businesses.
Okay. Before we do that, I want you to know that Julie has told me that you are in September co-host for 2025.
Yes, I am.
And Chuck, you are June co-host.
Okay. All right.
Great job. Great month.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm ready for you.
But I can read this. I can read this as cyber criminals often ramp up sophisticated phishing schemes around the holidays. Or, Joe. Or I could put this hat on.
Don't do it.
And we could sing it.
Don't do it.
Together. What do you say?
Don't do it.
You want boring old radio or do you want something fun? Chuck, these are your lines.
Oh, look at Joe just said, yeah, sing it.
Okay.
Oh,
all right. So
no.
when you know what to sing,
we just ruined the whole brand new studio. We got
festive
thousands of dollars in this new studio, and James put the Santa hat on.
Yeah, we ready?
I'm ready.
Dashing through the mail, phishing schemes on the rise. Emails look so real, but they're full of lies. Ransomware on the prowl, data locked away. With the holidays near, keep the threats at bay. Oh,
cyber threats.
Wow, Chuck, you are really doing it for him, buddy. Chuck is really in it.
Watch your clicks, beware. Oh, what fun it is to fight with strong passwords to spare. Hey,
Cyber threats. Cyber threats.
Don't let
Chuck,
hackers
you're a
win.
real trooper.
Make sure your team is trained well, safe and secure within. BEC is a trap. Let me take a moment and say that BEC is when.
I was going to say, what is BEC?
Yeah, it says that's when you pretend as though you're an executive of an organization and ask as though you're asking your like admin type to go buy you gift cards and that type of stuff. That's a BEC attack.
BEC trap. Got it.
Yeah, and on my website, you'll learn that stands for Business Email Compromise.
Got it. Okay.
BEC is a trap. Impersonation sly. Verify those requests. Don't let those funds fly by. Payment fraud is looming as we shop online. Work with your providers to keep your data fine.
Do you have to shimmy? You have to shimmy.
Cyber threats. Cyber threats.
Watch your clicks, beware.
Chuck's starting to shimmy
it is
too.
to fight with strong passwords to spare.
Cyber threats. Cyber threats.
Don't let hackers win. Make sure your team is trained well. Stay safe and secure within. So, back up your files and update your software too. With MFA in place, you'll know just what to do. This holiday season, stay alert and be wise. I'm really bad at this. Can't hold a tune. Protect your small business and avoid those nasty spies. But let's take a moment. Look, it's a lot of fun to make fun of cybersecurity with a children's Christmas song.
Okay.
But let's take a moment and think about the true spirit of
no,
cybersecurity.
Let's take a moment.
The true meaning, which is the state of being protected against the criminal or unauthorized use of electronic data or the measures taken to achieve this. And unlike true victims, like the Who household, from when the Grinch came in and stole that tree, that was a true crime, right? Or like that guy whose estranged wife was held hostage from that Christmas party, and he had to spend Christmas Eve saving them all from that. The New York police officer, McCain? Yeah. When something bad happens to your cybersecurity, it's going to be very different. You're not the victim there. People are going to ask a lot of questions, and they're going to be looking for some very keen answers. And if your keen answers are not keen enough, then they're going to hold you liable for your faults. And at some point, you're going to have to decide, do I want to be considered stupid or irresponsible? Stupid in that I wasn't listening to the December 2nd, Local Biz Now radio show to learn about cybersecurity threats, or irresponsible because I didn't take it serious enough to protect my customers' data. And that's a tough call.
Irresponsible or stupid? Which one do you want to be?
Irresponsible. So back up your files and update your software too. With MFA in place, you'll know just what to do. This holiday season, stay alert and be wise. Protect your small business and avoid those nasty spies.
Come on, Chuck.
Cyber threats. Cyber threats.
Watch your clicks, beware. Oh, what fun it is to fight with strong passwords to spare.
Cyber threats. Cyber threats.
Don't let hackers win. Make sure your team is trained well. Stay safe and secure within. God bless us, everyone.
Chuck, you're a real trooper for that, buddy.
Chuck, you did great.
I came all the way from Valentine to do that.
Chuck, have you heard this one before?
I am not, James.
Okay. Well, oh, boy. I'm embarrassed to say you've been listening to Local Biz Now, where your business should matter. We'll be right back.
More Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, the month of December starting off actually feeling like the holidays, just downright cold as we start a new work week. Plenty of sunshine in mid-40s for this afternoon. Tonight dropping into...
Christine said that was great. They loved it. They thought it was exceptional.
Thank you.
Don't encourage him, JoJo. we don't. Say what?
Here, I'll give this back to you.
There you go. We got his clip. We got his clip.
I'm gonna be handing this to people down at Birkdale later this afternoon. If you want to come down for the cybersecurity caroling.
Well, I didn't know what you handed him, and then the first time he started singing, I was like, "No, Chuck it."
That's away in a server farm. No.
Okay. All right.
So what are you going to talk about for the remaining time, Joe?
Say what? How are you going to top that? We're not going to top that. So, remember, your coach. If you want to ask him some questions, just this conversation can go any direction.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, on Facebook,
Normally, I would say keep it respectable, but since he's already thrown that out the window, Chuck, you can do whatever you want.
Ask some intelligent questions on Facebook. Facebook won't do that.
One minute. Maybe I look up this time.
Joe, his thumb is up.
Chuck's thinking,
thumbs up.
I drove an extra hour for this. Joe can't get the intro right, and now they got me singing.
Which of that is, what part of that are they going to make shorts?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Julie, what part of his song is going to be a short?
Probably
beginning, middle, or the end?
Cyber.
Cyber.
Now more Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
And we are live. This is Joe Vagnone. Welcome to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio, home of premium cigars and exceptional cigar smokers. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burner Cigars, located in Birkdale Village and also in Highway 16 in Denver. For a moment, Chuck, do you smoke cigars?
Occasionally, yes.
Okay, because James, you and I, we burn them up, don't we? It's our relaxing thing, isn't it?
One time a day that I'll hold still.
Yeah.
I can't mow a lawn. I can't play golf. I can't do anything but sit down when I'm ready to smoke a cigar.
That's funny you say that, because that's what I've told people for years. If you want to just sit and talk to me, you need to give me a cigar. And then you've got me for about 45 minutes. Right. I'll sit and listen. But other than that, I can't sit still for that. So that's fine.
We caught Burner Cigars out at the Southern Christmas Show also.
Oh, yeah.
So they had a temporary third location,
Yes.
and I think that was the second year at least that I've seen, maybe third that I've
Yes.
seen them there. So
Yes.
yeah, so nice. They have some nice little bundles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Burner Cigars, go on by there. Tell them Joe sent you. I mean, listen, you could tell them Jane sent you, but they're not going to know who he is.
Is that guy on the radio? He's the guy on the radio that sang that song, right? I can't sing the normal song anymore. That's all I hear is cyber threats.
Okay. If you go to Burners and you say, I heard them singing a song on the radio, I will give you 2 free cigars.
Nice.
Of your choice.
Of our choice?
That's right.
I thought, what? That's great.
Julie just said, oh, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. So here's what I want to do. Tell me, as a online shopper, which today is the day, right?
Today is, yes.
What is it I need to be looking for? Because I don't want to be stupid, and I don't want to be irresponsible.
Yeah, look for the impossible sales, and don't use that, right? If it's just too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, but that means you get the deal and I don't.
No, it does not. It means that, it means
It's
that
not a deal.
I get that deal and
Ah,
we
you
don't.
can't.
So
Oh,
right.
You don't.
Yes.
Yours never shows up, right?
Right. Yeah. And I'll tell you, shop reputable sites, ones that everyone knows.
So if I know I'm at Shopify, I'm okay, right? Like, aren't they going to help me?
Yeah, Shopify is an engine that
Right.
is more reputable than fly by night stuff. Yes, or a lot of foreign stuff. For a long time, let me just say, it still has the reputation of being less reputable, and those are sites that advertise and sell on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you are on Facebook,
honestly, I'm getting more and more uncomfortable with Amazon because Amazon letting more and more people
yes,
mislead me.
That's right. Yeah, Amazon. Everything you buy from Amazon is not from an Amazon warehouse.
Right.
Yes.
You think you're dealing
Wait
with
a minute.
reputable.
Wait a minute. Doesn't your son do that?
Oh, well, that's a whole nother world that turned bad, by the way.
Oh,
That entire deal turned bad, which
I'm
is
sorry to hear
why
that.
I know what I said to you. That's absolutely correct. There are a lot of really poor, bad business actors on Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't know that until I got into all of that.
Gotcha. Walmart.
So the fact that
Walmart.com, same thing. Different. Anybody can throw up a shingle and
Right.
say, I'm an online vendor now,
Right.
and pretend like they're selling whatever. Oh gosh, about 4 or 5 years ago, I think I spent $60 for one LED strip. It was supposed to be a tree.
Right.
I was excited for this 16-foot tree that was going to be out in front of my house.
The deal that you thought you were
Yeah,
getting.
I was like,
Right.
oh, this is nice. That'll look great in front of my house. I
So-
was like, what is this?
So I don't want to talk about my deal now, but it's going to be a whole show that we're going to talk about the mistakes that I made and what I should have done, what I should have looked at, right? You
Right.
know, in a business.
Yes.
But I do want to tell you the one thing that I did that was a savior, and I want to get your opinion on this. If I use a good, reputable credit card, they will help defend me when I'm up against an disrespected merchant. Would you accept that as a good protection?
I agree. It's not 100%, but at least you have someone on your side. Like I use Chase, and Chase has always been very good to me when it comes to disputes.
Right.
They ask me a few questions, ask me to send some copies of emails or something, and then the credit comes off, and I don't know what happens after that. They're very good about what they do.
Right. Well, as a merchant, what I've learned is that I then have to defend what it is that I've provided. Did I provide the service that I said I was going to provide, right?
Yes.
And so that's what I like because in a lot of cases, you order it and never get it. Or what you get is, like I ordered a Maserati, right? For $27.50. When it showed up, it was in a box. I thought it was going to show up with a key I could drive my wife around.
Sure.
So it wasn't my expectations were. And if their marketing suggests that I was going to be able to drive my wife around, then in fact I should get my $27.50 back.
And
And
that's
the credit card company is helping you do that. Is that a fair cybersecurity protection?
Yes. So
I'd say that, James, unlike a debit card, that's much harder to do.
correct.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. There are more protections with a credit card. The one of the things that one of the characteristics of business on Facebook that made it not have a stellar reputation when it comes to retail is that they can throw up an advertisement with the graphic for the advertisement says it does this, and then people buy into it and they can change that graphic. And unless you have a screenshot of what was there before, you're probably not even going to realize it. When you go back and realize that, oh, this said it was 12 inches long instead of the full-size car,
Right.
it's a 1/20th instead of the full-size car,
Right.
then, yeah.
My experience in business is anybody doing business on social media, it is short-lived. And anybody purchasing on social media, I promise you, you're probably going to run into somebody that's misleading you. It is 10 times worse on a social media site than an Amazon or Walmart site.
Right.
I mean, the Amazon and Walmarts are a problem,
Mhm.
but the social media is really bad. I mean, it's the Carolina nickel. I'm bringing back my age now, right? When I say, you know what I'm talking about, the Carolina nickel?
I don't know the Carolina nickel.
Okay. It's a bad eBay. And you should, you don't want to give the money till you check the product and make sure it's right.
Yes. Now, that's from a buying perspective. From a selling perspective, it gives us engines that we can provide quality goods and services through and make it easier for us because they give us this package that allows us to do this. If we're honest in what we're doing and what we do, what we say we're going to do, and provide the right stuff, it's a great engine. We may not get the right amount of business because we're so much more reasonably priced compared to the fly-by-nights, but eventually maybe somebody who's using a fly-by-night will come back to us and ask us.
So how do I know that the guy on Facebook is a no account, or how do I know that the guy on Amazon is not going to send me the product that he said I was going to have?
You never really know. You never really know. There is the rating system. So a very high number of likes and number 5-star ratings, a high number, thousands, then that's a pretty good indication. If people are flocking to it and giving it 5 stars, you're more likely to get what you're supposed to get.
So this is not a question I can send to my IT guy and say, hey, is this a reputable company or not?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Any IT guy would take a look at it, look at the telltale signs, the ratings. Typically,
so I'm going to buy something over $100 or so. I might want to send it to my IT guy and say, hey, can you check this out for me?
I would check it out for you. Yes. Right.
Interesting.
That's the right thing to do. Yeah, especially when it comes to technology, because we know, if we're out buying and selling technology, we know reputable companies and irreputable companies.
You mean like those ear pod things that I bought for $17?
Ooh.
My wife said they're on Amazon for $220. You're thinking I didn't get a deal. I'm not going to like them when they show up on Amazon.
You're not going to like those. You better go ahead and buy the correct price. If it's Apple, always buy the right stuff. Yeah, pay the money because there's no cheap Apple.
That reminds me, my wife bought it. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Used to live there in the 70s, and my wife bought an authentic. It said authentic on the website jersey for $12.
Nice, great buy.
And I told her I wanted a XXX, right?
Yes,
size. When it came, it was so small. It was XXX child, right?
Nice.
And I laughed, and my wife said, I would have never known that. My wife's an accountant, so she went back just like you said. They had changed the website. They had changed how they were marketing.
Bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we've only got a minute left. Chuck, anything you want to say to small business people, buddy?
I've got a question for James, actually. So let me throw it to you. As a small business owner, what's the best way to engage you and your services for our company?
Go to our website, sronc.com, or zip me an email, jsanders@sronc.com, or our telephone number is 704-655-0615. We are happy to be here. Grateful to serve. Thank you, Chuck. That's my short.
Any final information, buddy? We got about 30 seconds, my friend.
Well, the question is, what was the question that you just asked, Chuck?
You don't have time to answer it. Because you were singing too much.
Well,
you are listening to Local Biz Now, where normally your business matters. We'll see you next week.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville.